Hey soldiers, what are these politicians going to do about all this money they received from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and FTX related people? We've got Maxine Waters, who is never at a loss for words, not wanting to go into questions surrounding how much money she got and what she's going to do with it. And mind you, Maxine Waters is the chair of the House Financial Services Committee. This is supposed to be an oversight committee that has as its mission protecting you when you go out and make investments, the American people. That's who Congress is ostensibly supposed to represent, right? All right, but in fact, here's Maxine Waters hugged up on Sam Bankman-Fried. This is, look at this passionate embrace of the woman that is supposed to be conducting oversight of his company. How cozy. Maxine Waters is in deep. They're going to investigate, though. Don't worry, right? I wonder, will she investigate herself? Because, as I said before, Maxine Waters has never been at a loss for words. She loves to run her mouth. In fact, she's even said, I have the gavel and I'm not afraid to use it. So go ahead and prove that to us, Maxine. Prove you're not afraid to use the gavel. Use it on yourself, okay? Represent the people and investigate what's going on with all of this money that Congress has received from this corrupt individual. And I don't want to hear that you're going to re-gift the money. So, I got $10,000 from him, but I'm going to take $10,000 from my campaign and I'm going to give it over here. No, don't do that, because I don't trust all of these little, donation hubs that these politicians are sending money to. That money is liable to come right back to them. Congress has turned into nothing more than a money laundering operation. So Maxine Waters gets money from Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried goes belly up, looks real bad. She takes the money that he donated to her, same dollar amount, gives it to the Orphan Children and Abandoned Puppies Fund. And then they turn right back around and give it right. They make a generous donation to Maxine Waters. How convenient. Sam Bankman-Fried and the executives at his cryptocurrency firm contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to members of the House committee that will hold hearings next month on the company's collapse. When I was in D.C., the rules around giving any kind of gift to the regulators were extremely strict. I cannot imagine why a sitting congressperson who has the purview of oversight for a certain sector of the economy would then turn around and take money from that sector of the economy. That seems extremely unseemly. Bankman-Fried and his co-founders at FTX contributed $300,351 to 9 members of the House Financial Services Committee, according to Federal Election Commission records. Some of the largest contributions were to Democrats on the committee's Digital Assets Working Group, which worked on regulation of the crypto industry. Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat from California, who chairs the committee, announced a probe this week into FTX's collapse after the company declared bankruptcy, wiping out billions of dollars in customer portfolios. The Justice Department and Securities Exchange Commission are reportedly investigating Bankman-Fried for the potential misuse of customer funds. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried at this hour is in the Bahamas, under supervision is what they're calling it. Now, let me tell you something. If you go out here and get into a situation where you're accused of 1/100th of what Sam Bankman-Fried has done, you will be under supervision, all right. It won't be in the Bahamas. It'll be in a cell somewhere. And you will have lost your job, you have lost your notoriety, everything's over for you. But the connected, the well-heeled, money talks, who knows, this guy, there's a missing $600 million, who knows if he has some sort of access to that and is, buying favors. Again, Ultimately, I don't think it will work simply because people like Maxine Waters, many members of Congress, Democrat and Republican, although 95% of his donations went to Democrats. He's not shy about saying, hey, I was a big supporter of, he was a big supporter of liberal causes, which is his right, fine. But it wasn't his money, now we are learning. And look, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Green Party, I don't care what you are. If you took money from this guy, you need to return that money so that the bankruptcy courts can figure that out. That's what you really need to do. Maxine Waters dodged questions this week about whether she is concerned about Bankman-Fried's political donations. She says, well, I don't want to get into that. As a matter of fact, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, have received donations. Notice, Maxine Waters, the same woman who said, I have the gavel and I'm not afraid to use it. Well, use it on yourself, Maxine. Investigate yourself. But this woman is saying now that, I don't want to talk about it. And, oh, by the way, both sides did it. That's like some schoolyard crap. It doesn't matter if a Democrat and a Republican did it. They both need to make it good, regardless of party. And furthermore, questions need to be asked about why congressmen, whether they be Democrat, Republican, or whatever, were taking money from an industry they supposedly were responsible for oversight of. Sam Bankman-Fried is a 30-year-old entrepreneur. He donated $5 million to a super PAC, or a political action committee, that supported President Joe Biden in 2020, and $40 million this election cycle, largely to Democrats. He contributed $6 million to the House Majority Political Action Committee, $1 million to the Senate Majority Political Action Committee, and nearly $900,000 to the Democratic National Committee. Those donations secured him White House meetings and appearances earlier this year at Democrats' annual retreat in Philadelphia. Bankman-Fried visited the White House 3 times this year with lobbyists from his company, the Washington Free Beacon reported. Now I want you to try something. Try an experiment. Do you have a cause or something? Maybe you collect food for the homeless, or maybe you collect different types of items for pregnant women, or something altruistic, or hell, maybe you have a small business that you're putting together. Tomorrow morning, I want you to call the White House and ask for a meeting at the White House with Joe Biden. Okay, just try it and see what they say. I don't know if you're going to get to meet at the White House 3 times, but you try it and let me know what happens. They met on April 22nd and May 12th with Steve Ricchetti, one of Biden's closest advisors. Bankman-Fried testified before the House Financial Services Committee on December 7th, where he said his goal in starting FTX was to, quote, have a positive impact around the world, unquote. Add that when you call the White House tomorrow. Say, hey, look, my goal here is to have a positive impact around the world. Okay, this seems to have worked to get Sam Bankman-Fried access. The millions might have, sweetened it a little, but I think it was that positive impact around the world that really sealed the deal. Bankman-Fried appeared on a panel with Maxine Waters at the Democrat retreat in Philadelphia in March, and was photographed arm in arm with the committee chairman after the event. Waters' office did not respond to questions about Bankman-Fried's donations to committee members. Now, this whole thing goes a little bit deeper. There was a committee hearing held not too long ago in which basically Congress was given the heads up that Sam Bankman-Fried's full of shit, okay? And for some reason, they didn't want to hear it. The chairman and CEO of the CME, Terry Duffy, he has some sharp senses from his days in the trading pit, and he pegged FTX for a fraud before the company blew up. And he told Sam Bankman-Fried as much to his face Duffy also told Congress that Sam Bankman-Fried was a fraud. In fact, he had a heated exchange with Representative Ro Khanna. And look, you can just watch it for yourself and see how vehemently Khanna attacked Duffy and tried to throw up this shield for FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried.
Mr. Duffy, you obviously have very strong opinions about cryptocurrency, so let's start with the basics. Could you tell the committee what you understand and how you define blockchain? And can you tell us some of the use cases of cryptocurrency for the American public?
Okay, right there, he's setting up kind of a gotcha. It's becoming very adversarial from the start. It is clear what side Khanna is on as he attacks pretty much Duffy and tries to make him look as though he doesn't know what he's talking about. Continue on.
Yeah, you know, I had a conversation with somebody in the industry, and I believe that the use case of cryptocurrency.
If you could start with the definition of blockchain. How do you understand blockchain?
The blockchain is a node, either centralized or decentralized, run by different platforms with parts of information that only certain people that have access to it can change that information. And once it's in the blockchain, it stays there. And in order to amend the information, it's a lot of procedures and protocols to go through the blockchain. It's a very complicated procedure. I think it's an excellent form of commerce for medical records, things of that nature. So I do think.
And what do you see as some of the use cases?
Use cases of blockchain?
Yeah, and cryptocurrencies. And
I don't know if there's a use case of here. The one blockchain that's been talked about today is Ethereum.
Do you see a use case?
Yeah, see, you know, again, it's just more of the gotcha. You know, he's not even letting him answer the questions that he is asking, which proves he's not interested in his answers. He's more interested in trying to make Duffy seem like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And this is coming from a United States congressman, okay? This is how unserious these people are. Now, the question that I know you're asking yourself is, well, how much did Khanna get? How much money did he get from Bankman-Fried, FTX, and or the people surrounding that corrupt organization?
You talk about here under oath, you say, if I could just quote you, because you may want to take this back, I don't know.
I don't take anything back.
FTX, well, you're under oath, sir.
I'm not under oath, I understand.
FTX has no capital requirements for participants. Is that really, are you going to stick to that under oath? Because the CFTC's Part 39 regulation requires capital requirements for FTX or for any of these exchanges. Are you really saying they have zero capital requirements? Or do you want to amend that statement given you under oath?
Sir, you're moving away from your microphone. Can you read the statement that you'd like me to?
Yeah, I'm asking you, sir, you have a saying so that FTX has, quote, no capital requirements for participants. I think that's on its face a false statement, given that the CFTC Part 39 regulation requires capital requirements, and FTX does have a capital requirement for margins.
I said their capital requirements are not the same as they are for other institutions.
Well, that's not what you said, sir. Under oath, you have submitted to this committee a statement that is false. You have said the regime has no capital requirements for participants. I would strongly recommend that you have someone on your team amend.
Well, I'd like to read that statement because I happen to disagree with you, sir.
Well, it's your testimony. It's your
No, I get it.
testimony.
I'd like to see the statement that you are referring
Yeah,
to.
I'm reading
I
from-
can't just
you
go
don't
off
know
of what
your
you're
own
reading.
Testimony? You're
Capital
giving a false
is
testimony.
not the same as margin, Congressman.
Well, sir, I want you to, after this, submit something that is accurate, recognizing you're giving testimony to the United States Congress. You don't know much about cryptocurrencies. You're opining on cryptocurrencies, and then you're giving false statements to the Congress that you aren't even staying. You weren't even knowing that you're submitting. You write FTX, quote, has no capital requirements for participants. That's just false.
Sir, I'll be happy to read my testimony back to you if you would like, but if you want to make this into a court of law, I'm happy to participate in that as well.
Well, it's not a court of law. It's that you can't go give false statements to the United States Congress.
I'm well aware, sir. I've testified in front of this committee over 50 times. I'm well aware of the procedures of this committee.
Well, then can you, I would submit that you need to correct the record, because you have, quote, your testimony, no capital requirements for participants. That anyone who has basic understanding of the CFTC knows that Part 39 would make that a completely wrong statement. Of course, there are capital requirements. And I suggest in the future that you do some homework on what cryptocurrencies
Well,
are.
I appreciate you telling me to do my homework. I
Testify.
assure you, sir, in the amount of years I've been in this business, I forgot more than most people ever know.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope you will correct the record so you're accurate and not giving false testimony.
I don't give false testimony, sir. It's not what I do.
But was it false? Okay, FTX, according to the people that have come in and are trying to administer this bankruptcy, FTX didn't even have secure email addresses for some of the accounts where they were trading billions of dollars. So this congressman, like most, is getting up there. He's doing the same thing that he's accusing Duffy of doing. He's getting up there, the congressman, is talking about stuff that he doesn't have. He had no idea what he's talking about. Okay, so very cozy relationship there. Very cozy between one of the participants in the industry and the body that is supposed to be standing in a position of oversight of that industry. Extremely cozy. Also, so far, Elizabeth Warren, I mentioned her because, you know, she has set herself up as the senator. Her brand is, I'm going after the rich people, okay? So far, she hasn't really come out and said anything about the $40 million donation to her political party for the U.S. midterm elections from Sam Bankman-Fried and Associates. She's been kind of mum on that. Got to ask, Liz, did you get any money from Sam Bankman-Fried? All right, so that's what's going on. Continue to follow this because you can see that the job of oversight wasn't being done. So this fraud is twofold. Number one, you had the out-and-out fraud by Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, you know, his girlfriend over at the hedge fund, Alameda Research. And then you had the fraud of the Congressional Committee supposed to be looking out for American people on these issues. And they're, you know, going on trips and taking pictures and getting money from the very entity they are supposed to be always watching to make sure they are not putting the American people and their money in harm's way. Guys, watch this video. It's about a bank that recently launched a credit card that is going to modify your behavior, all so that this social credit scoring system can be introduced and your life can be controlled via your wallet. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.